For the first time this term, President Trump is dining out in Washington, D.C. right now. CNN has obtained video of what the president was greeted with inside the restaurant tonight.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Happy to see you. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you.
You can hear some protesters in the background yelling "Free D.C." and "Free Palestine." Before the president and his entourage entered the restaurant, you could hear supporters outside the restaurant. Dining with the president, as you can see there, cabinet officials, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, the Vice President J.D. Vance as well. My inside sources tonight are Jeff Mason from Reuters and the former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Tom Dupree. It's great to have you both back. Jeff Mason, you know, obviously this is not something you normally see every day with President Trump going out to restaurants. Admittedly, he's about a block and a half from the White House.
It's really close.
As we both know, we've probably walked there from the White House before. But it does say that, you know, as the president is kind of trying to portray this takedown or takeover of Washington, D.C., why he's going out there tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's wanting to illustrate the point that he's been making for weeks now, which is the suggestion that his bringing in the National Guard has really cleaned up Washington, D.C. and reduced crime entirely. And going out, I mean, he said to me on Sunday, I think, in a gaggle at Joint Base Andrews, that, Jeff, you could go out for dinner. And anyway,
I assume you've been going out to dinner.
I do go out to dinner, in fact, and I also told him that night that there's still crime in D.C. And his response to me was, well, not much. So, in general, this is an issue that he feels passionately about, and going out for dinner tonight is one way of illustrating that.
Yeah, and obviously it's a pretty safe area. It's not that far from the White House, Tom, but this is kind of the argument that the White House has been making. I mean, Caroline Leavitt, when she came out to the briefing today, was not only talking about the numbers here in D.C., they were talking about the murder that we were covering here last night on the show with you in North Carolina as well, as part of this kind of image that they are projecting. Is they're still also debating potentially trying to mirror something like this. Obviously, it'll be more difficult in other cities in the United States.
Yeah, and look, I think this is just a way for the president to attempt to show that his crackdown in D.C. is working. You know, he was saying people have gone out to restaurants who haven't gone out in 4 years. I mean, he might be included in that group potentially because he is not normally someone who dines frequently at D.C. restaurants. So I think this is his way of signaling this is a new day. No surprise, there were people heckling. D.C. is a political city. We're kind of on edge right now in many respects. So it doesn't surprise me that that was the reaction. But look, the president got the visuals that he wanted of him going out to a restaurant and dining in this new city.
Well, and Jeff, you know, as the president was going in, he stopped before the cameras. We showed that he was talking about Jeffrey Epstein and the documents that are now in the hands of Congress that came from the Jeffrey Epstein estate. What stood out to you about what the president had to say as he's continuing to deny that that's his signature in that book?
Well, a couple things. Number one, he called it nonsense. He said that's not my language, it's not my signature. So he's suggesting that A, that the signature is false, which the White House has said already, and B, that it's just not something he would write. Then he was also asked whether he would meet with the victims of Epstein. Lawmakers last week did, and so that's been a question as well. And he said it's not something that's been suggested, and it's not something that he's thought about.
Yeah, which is something Marjorie Taylor Greene had suggested to the president last week. She says she personally did. He said tonight that no one has brought that up to him. But I wonder, as you listen to the White House answers here, Caroline Leavitt specifically pointed to the argument that Trump's team is making in court. They are suing the Wall Street Journal over initially reporting on this story. But that argument in court has been that that letter was non-existent. Today, they were saying those signatures weren't his. But when Maggie Haberman, you know, asked that great pointed question about, well, what is the hoax here? Is it the documents? They said, no, it's not the documents. It's kind of been this very muddled message over, are the documents real? Is the signature real? You know, what's real, what's not from the White House?
The hoax is evolving. I think what's going on here, look, is that this is a document that has been buried in the Epstein birthday book for decades. And so the Trump administration is in the difficult position of trying to argue that someone back in 2005 or wherever created a forged document with the future president's signature and then left it in the birthday book where it sat untouched for 20 years until all of a sudden it's released. It's a difficult argument to make.
When Trump was a Democrat, by the way, 20 years ago, when he and Jeffrey Epstein were
adds to the complexity. And look, this veracity of this document may be litigated in Trump's lawsuit, who knows? But as a litigator, I can tell you there are ways you can ascertain the truthfulness or the legitimacy of handwriting. I mean, you can have handwriting experts. You can ink date the document. There are all sorts of things you can do to try to figure out if it's legitimate. Maybe we'll see that happen. maybe we won't.
Which, by the way, Caroline Leavitt said on behalf of the White House that they would welcome. So it's kind of a challenge. But I believe it was one of the congressmen said
Comer,
today,
I think,
Comer,
who said it
thank
wasn't
you.
necessary.
He said we're not going to spend money or time on exploring something that's 20 years old.
We shall see. Jeff Mason, Tom Dupree, great to have both of you here.